Hello, welcome to my classroom. My name is Mr. Herman. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit like and subscribe. You will be one of the first 10 people to do so, and that will be quite an accomplishment for you. Today we are talking about the Chinese Revolution. We have talked about revolutions before in this class. Revolutions are one of those things that they don't just randomly happen one day. You're walking along and you think to yourself, I'd like to revolution. Revolutions put your life, a person's life at risk. So for there to be a revolution, the alternative to putting your life at risk must be even more dire. That, or it's a calculated risk. Perhaps by the revolution, you stand to gain a great deal. Remember the first two rules of human beings. Rule 1, protect what you have. Rule 2, get more. Revolution evokes both of these rules. We see the evidence for this building up in China in the history of China with some of their rebellions. Now, rebellions, remember, are attempted revolutions, but you don't get the name revolution unless you win. So first of all, we have right here the Taiping Rebellion. Over here, we have the Boxer Rebellion. Both of these failed, but they demonstrate just how set on changing the status quo many people within China are. They are done with the current system of things and they would like a new system. Thank you very much. So in this, it's only a matter of time before we see the old guard, the old dynasty removed. The mandate of heaven has been lost. So we have Sun Yat-sen puts together a revolutionary alliance. They are called the Revolutionary Alliance. They overthrow the Qing Dynasty, who had ruled since the 17th century, and he takes over, and his goal is to overthrow the old, unite the people, and modernize and rebuild. This modernization is a very important step, because look what is happening around the globe at this time. Imperialism, European imperialism and dominance is happening everywhere, by and large due to the Industrial Revolution, which has given Europe access to greater and more powerful weapons. If your country cannot industrialize, if it cannot produce goods that can be sold or produced implements of war, there's not much you can do against machine guns. So the goal for most countries in this new age is to look for ways to modernize to be able to compete with the West. And this is part of what Sun Yat-sen's vision is and why he's able to get a coalition together, this idea of modernization, to throw out the West or to embrace the West. We haven't really decided yet, but to make at least China self-sufficient and be able to stand on its own. But Sun Yat-sen underestimates the power of chaos here. His thinking is that by removing the old, his group, which will become the Kuomintang, will take power and lead China into a new age of enlightenment and wonderful things. But once you remove the power, the old power, I have this theory that power, this is only a theory, power cannot be created nor destroyed. It always exists. Some people are able to unify it. Some people are able to separate it. But power always exists. And in removing the old power, Sun Yat-sen thought he would inherit all the old power, but in fact he broke it apart into little bits. And as soon as these little bits were scattered around, everyone descends. And it is a free-for-all. Who is going to unify the power first? Well, the first group to do it is going to be the warlords. They're usually the ones who are best situated. They have a military. They have hierarchy. They have an organizational system. So once the revolution happens and removes old power, the warlords step in. So the first thing Sun Yat-sen's new government has to do is to remove the warlords. And this takes a while. This is not an easy task. This occupies the first many years of this revolution. But eventually, Sun Yat-sen is able to overwhelm the warlords and take back and unify Chinese power. This is about the same time as World War I is happening. World War I, if you remember, featured Europeans going to war against other Europeans. And because of their peripheries, meaning colonies, colonies got involved. Not just because the European powers made their colonies fight other colonies, which did happen. We have nations who are trying to get involved in the spoils of war. The idea is, if you help the winners, you might get some of them leftover colonies when this whole thing is over. We see Japan enter with that mindset. We see China enter in some ways with this mindset of maybe we can get some of those European colonies if the Germans lose. So there's the chaos of world war. The old dynasty has been removed. There has been war against warlords in China. And the real question is, who is going to rise to the challenge to unite the pieces of power to really put China back together? And we have some contenders. We have Sun Yat-sen and the Kuomintang. Are they going to do it? Is it going to be the warlord, Feng Yixian? Sorry about pronunciations. Is it going to be the assistant librarian at Beijing University? Or is it going to, I mean, clearly, look at this picture. This is amazing. This picture is airbrushed. Wow, that is a uniform. If I'm going to select anyone to lead my revolution, I mean, honestly, he does look friendly. He's a warlord, so he's probably not friendly. He's like, hey,